Former SAA board chair Dudu Myeni is scheduled to take the stand at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, this in order to give aviation-related testimony. And let's stay with one of those stories back home now. In fact, Dudu Myeni expected to take the stand at the Zondo Commission, as mentioned. For the first time today, there are some concerns over whether or not she will honor the invitation and if she'll answer all the critical questions or perhaps dodge the grilling that could see her incriminating herself. Myeni has been implicated by several witnesses at the Zondo Commission so far. On top of this, a High Court judgment back in May saw her being declared a delinquent director for life. In fact, Judge Ronald Tolmay recommended that the NPA charge her criminally. That court action was instituted by civil rights organization, the Organization Undoing Tax Abuse, otherwise known as OUTA. They say they hope the Zondo Commission will hold Dudu Myeni to account. For more on this now, let's bring in Stefanie Fick, who's the Executive Director of OUTA's Accountability Division. She joins us now via our video line in Johannesburg. Stefanie, always great to have you on. Advocate Stefanie, I should add. Thanks very much for your time. You have had a fair amount of experience with dealing with someone like Dudu Myeni in your court case, which of course you eventually won. What is foremost top of mind for you as we gear for this testimony, which, by the way, we don't even know if is going to go ahead?
I think it's sort of rewarding, because I think what civil society and what South Africans need currently is accountability. And the State Capture Commission, for a large part, was responsible for the fact that we could hear what was going on. The people of South Africa could hear the shenanigans, and hopefully when the judge gives his report at the end, that there will be vindication for South Africans, for all of us. With the testimony of Ms. Myeni, I think would be interesting. If you ask me, will she pitch up? Will she dodge the bullet? Who knows? I think I'm currently leaning towards she'll probably pitch up. But I think at this stage, because of the delinquent director case and the fact that this matter is with the NPA, that she may choose to remain silent. In other words, she's going to say that it's her right to remain silent and she doesn't want to incriminate herself. Now, that in itself has got a big question mark. If you are scared you're going to incriminate yourself, does it mean that there is something that you need to talk about? So yeah, today is going to be interesting, and whether it will be more interesting than Miss Quinani that was in the box, and I think literally Judge Zondo brought him to tears. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely, yeah, no. Ms. Quinana's testimony, I think, leaving many people speechless. But if she was to not pitch up today, Dudu Myeni, that is, Advocate, would it be on sound legal grounds if it's on the basis that she doesn't want to potentially incriminate herself? I mean, is that something she could get away with possibly as a reason?
She will not get away with not pitching up. If you are, you requested to come. I think there's a formal process. I mean, you can be subpoenaed. So that is not a reason. I think that is being, if you ask me, except for the law part, that is being disrespectful for a process that was put in place for a very specific reason. What she can do is, say that she's got a right to remain silent. And it would be interesting to see, what will happen at the State Capture Commission, because, whether someone can use the testimony against you is an interesting debate in criminal proceedings, because criminal proceedings is a totally different proceeding than the State Capture Commission. But to not come to court, I think we had a little bit of experience of that, in the sense that during the delinquent director application, she also chose not to come to court. I think it's disrespectful to us as South Africans. It's disrespectful to Judge Zondo. So, no, that she can't use as an excuse, but she can say, you know what, my right, I'm going to stand on my right to remain silent. Whether she has that right in terms of the Constitution, in proceedings like this remains to be seen. So this is the interesting part, because you have a right to a fair trial, you have a right to legal representation, you have a right to remain silent in terms of the Constitution when you are an accused person. So yeah, interesting times ahead.
Absolutely, and many moving parts. Hypothetically speaking, let's say she does arrive and she decides to take the stand. What are the pressing questions that you think need to be posed to her, given, of course, just how widespread the implication actually is from the State Capture Commission of Inquiry? Several witnesses bringing up her name in various capacities, and it might be difficult to try and, I guess, streamline what she should answer for first.
Let's put it better. I think there's a lot of things that she needs to answer for. She was the chairperson of the South African Airways for a very long time, and we tackled some of the issues when we dealt with the delinquency application, but definitely not all the issues. And then we all know about the whole Busasa thing and a whole lot more. So whether we will get answers, are we getting answers from the State Capture Commission? That is debatable. Some people are honest and they give us everything, and then some people are just not willing to come and talk to Judge Zondo. But that is his duty at the end, to sort of tell us what went wrong and how can we do it better in future. We cannot make this mistake again. For example, at SAA, just to mention this, except for possible maladministration and corruption and the pure delinquency of a chairperson, there were other board members that surely were part of the delinquency. But the appointment of chairpersons, the fact that appointing a board from the minister is extremely important, and I think we start to see the importance of that, is to get good people on the board to make sure that the governance at our state-owned entities is looked after. It's extremely important. Yeah.
And the High Court ruling declaring Dudu Myeni a delinquent director for life at the time seemed incredibly significant. We're still waiting for, I guess, if you like, the reaction to start unfolding, including criminal charges if there's a necessity for that, etc., etc. Given the time that's lapsed since that judgment was given, do you still feel that it was as much of a game changer as perhaps it might have felt at the time? One certainly, at least by now, would have hoped there would have been a whole lot more of a chain reaction after that ruling. And, if you look at the situation, some might say it leaves a lot to be desired.
I think, let me put it to you like this. I think we should remain hopeful. I think the minute we all lose hope, we can pack up and go. And I think that the delinquency application, except for in law, was, I think, a very important judgment. But that is, I always say that accountability is not just the NPA. Accountability goes across the board. It is making sure that there's disciplinary action against people in key positions. It is making sure, yes, that they are, that there are criminal prosecutions, but also that people are just in general held to account, that as South Africans we are see that there are consequences. Now, with Ms. Myeni's, in Ms. Myeni's case, is hopefully this matter will lead to the fact that she will not be on any board in future, never ever again. If the declaration for life of delinquency stands. We are busy. Obviously, she's got a right to appeal, and that is exactly what she did. So we are still busy with the appeal. And we all know that the NPA, I think, is under enormous pressure. They've also gone through a state capture period. And, there's a lot of state capture cases that needs attention. And that, yes, although the wheels of justice are turning slowly, it is turning. So there's hope.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in many respects, people might have seen this particular case as a precedent-setting one. In fact, perhaps other people should be declared delinquent directors for life. And given that, I mean, do you think it's worthwhile pursuing that against other individuals who have also really raised eyebrows, and that's putting it lightly, given their run as chairpersons of various SOEs in the country?
No, of course. You hit the nail on the head. There are a lot of directors that needs to be declared delinquency. And to sort of, in that sense, speak to your previous question, I think this was a good thing for civil society. Like you said, it's precedent setting. But I also hope that this is a message to other boards and to this is something you can do. It is possible. Going after people's assets, that is part of our law, and hopefully the NPA and the Asset Forfeiture Unit will get to that. But I really, really believe that this is vindication for civil society, that we can do this. And yes, we would love to, take everyone on. I think if you just think of the SOEs, ESCOM, how many of the board members needs to be declared delinquent directors so they never ever can be on a board ever again. I can't emphasize that enough. Unfortunately, we can't do everything. So hopefully there's other organizations out there, or we get more support, support these types of applications so that we can do more. But this is on behalf of South Africa to say that, civil society, if the powers that be are not going to do it, we.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much for coming on to the AM Report, giving us an idea of what to keep in mind as we count down to that moment where Dudu Myeni potentially takes the stand at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry today. I certainly appreciate your insight. Advocate Stefanie Fick is an Executive Director at the Accountability Division of OUTA. It's an important story to watch quite closely, not least of which because there are many, many questions that the former SAA board chair needs to answer to.